I'll show you how I do that.
Hello and welcome to what I believe is the 10th entry into my Learning to Draw series. Now, I'm running out of space on my page here. You may be able to see. So I thought I would try and choose something quite small, possibly. So I found Bailey J's How to Draw Hair Braids, which might be interesting. I'll see if I can fit it in this small space over here.
And just extend it upwards, just like that. Same thing on this side. And then you have your general shape of your braid, and then you want to make it actually look like a braid, so we're going to add in some round edges right here. Same thing on this side. And at the bottom I just draw a little bubble like this, and another one on this side, and then I draw in the hair elastic. I'm just going to do a simple elastic for this one. And then at the bottom, because the elastic squeezes the hair is going to puff out a little bit. It can be a lot or just a little bit, up to you, but it's going to puff out some, and then it'll taper. And it could be just taper into one point, it could have a little curl at the end. I'm going to make mine have a couple different sections. Just something like that. And then it still looks pretty stiff, not a whole lot like a nice braid. So what I do after that is I round out this bottom piece here. So this is very, very square at the bottom. So I just color in the corners to make it a rounder shape. And I also like to fix the top too, because a lot of the times where this curl right here meets this straight line, it's kind of a pointy corner, so I like to round that out too. And I'm just going to speed this part up because it can be a little bit tedious to watch me do that for the entire braid. Alright, so now most of the braid is done, and you might be wondering how you connect it to the head. Well, what I do is I just sort of extend these two top lines, and it depends exactly what kind of braid. If you only have one or two braids on the head, this might have to bulge out a lot because you're going to have to eventually link that to the entire head. But if it's just a longer but skinnier braid, you might not even make it stick out that much. It just might sort of fade into the rest of the hair. But I pretty much just extend it like this and extend lines in every direction. You can see I sort of kept this line, so this piece of hair is still in front, and then it just all fades into the rest of the hair. And it helps if you draw strands, and that's another thing I like to do, is draw some strands on this part. And some of the strands just sit sort of in the middle, some go on the end and only make their way partially across. I don't like to draw very many that go all the way across. If I'm drawing a smaller braid, I definitely do that a lot, but when it's a close-up like this, I try to make it more random. Again, I'm not going to show you the entire thing because that would take too long, and I do that on the bottom as well. And you want to make sure these lines are curved to the shape of the braid. So it's a 3D object. I know you're drawing it 2D, but you have to think of it as its 3D shape and sort of follow the curve of the actual object. So now I'm just going to show you again how you connect it to the head using this as an example. So you can see I kept this chunk right here. It looks just like this chunk but without the end. It just sort of fades into the rest of the hair, and I added a couple lines. So that's the way you can connect it to the head. So this braid here is a lot like the one I just did in the tutorial. It has very round edges and it's quite uniform. It's not very messy looking, and it's okay to do that for cartoony drawings because.
So here we are, a
and then for this
braid
one here,
apparently.
I have sort of
I hope you recognize it as such.
Just to make it look a bit more cartoony. Even this bottom part here has sharper.
If not, then
it's just a stylistic
come
choice.
by my next video and
right
Not BY, not BUY. Surely wouldn't expect you to pay for any of this. This is a travesty. But at least I've filled the page. And I've tried. So, if you'd like to see more of this nightmare, then come across my next video. And I'll see you then.